for the unofficial 40 from Soonerscoop.com. Featuring site publishers Carey Murdoch and Josh McQuistion, along with videographer Eddie Radosevich. It's the unofficial 40 on Soonerscoop.com.
All right, welcome back. It is the unofficial 40 on Soonerscoop.com. As I have spent most of my morning railing against the entire staff, against everyone I work with in radio, against basically everybody that I know, because I just kind of decided to throw a tantrum today. I'm not apologizing for it.
Well, you're not moving, so...
What do you mean I'm not moving?
Well, I had my bitch out session a couple weeks ago when I was moving. And today you had yours.
I have a bladder infection. That's my excuse.
It's accurate.
And I almost passed out at practice yesterday.
That's hot in the indoor.
It sucks in the indoor.
Man, that's terrible.
The indoor is
you would
like...
think that it would be easier, like inside they'd have the air conditioning on.
There's no air. Like, get some
There's no
damn
airflow.
ventilation. And I mean, you think... look, this is not like a OU is not being responsible thing on the wake of the Maryland stuff, but like literally you walk into that thing and you can't breathe. Like, it was ridiculous.
Wasn't always the legend of the indoor right when they built it that they could
snow.
produce they could produce weather inside? I honestly believed that for a long time.
It has these giant pipes running up in the ceiling.
Is that what made everything?
And so everybody
think
looked
that?
at that and they were like, "Oh, that's where the weather comes from."
Yeah,
Now, my glasses fogged up as soon as we walked in.
Did they really?
Yeah.
it was awful in there. Like I was sweating very, very hard.
Well, I hadn't really eaten in 3 days. And I didn't know what I had. I was just kind of taking Dayquil and NyQuil. And I think I'd had pineapple, a little cup of pineapple, and I ate some oatmeal that morning. And I thought, oh, this is going to get me through. This will give me some energy. And so after about 7 minutes of talking to Lincoln Riley and then 3 minutes of talking to CeeDee Lamb, I walked outside, and I've never had this happen before, where the volume of how I can hear... It was like someone was turning it down. And I thought to myself, like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. Like, all of a sudden, visions of fat guy on a gurney and an ambulance are in my head, and I'm like, don't let this happen, don't let this happen, don't let this... And so I leaned over a trash can. It probably stunk. I didn't care. I couldn't tell, heads from tails. And I just remember taking as big a breath as I could. Like, don't pass out, don't pass out. And so finally, the hearing came back, and my head stopped feeling like a balloon. But then I was like, okay, go to the doctor. Find out what the hell's going on with you. And I'm not even getting into what it takes. Josh, we could bring Josh in
Well,
on
you
this.
have to know about it.
Josh, whose wife
We're
is in the medical
border on the
field.
TMI. Bordering
No,
on
I'm not going
TMI.
to talk about body parts at all. Josh, join us, please.
While Josh is joining us, I will say Tiffany Bird probably would have given you mouth to mouth if you needed it.
With my luck, it would have been Benny Wiley. You would welcome that?
I'd let that happen. I hope I get stronger out of this, Mr. Wiley.
Like, Josh, have you and your wife talked about all the required steps it takes to pee into a cup these days?
No, we have not had that conversation.
It
We
is
have
legitimately-
a lot of conversation about blood draws.
Like, you might as well. It's like Karen Silkwood. It's like you might as well be wearing a hazmat suit to pee into that cup. You have to take an alcohol swab to all your junk, and you can't let certain things touch certain things.
I wonder why.
Wow.
I don't know.
No, I have not heard that. I will bring that up and see if I can come up with some answers for why that has actually happened.
I would have given him.
Either there's a cause or a belief.
Should have given him 2 samples.
I was almost as successful. I could say, I think you could be more successful at those ring tosses at the Texas State Fair around those glass tubes or whatever, as it is successfully peeing in a cup for the first time. It was awful. But yeah, ends up bladder infection. Now I'm about to die.
That sucks.
Didn't want to do the podcast, but here we are.
The people have won again.
I think Eddie won again, unfortunately. Eddie and I have had some battles over podcast.
I just like doing them. I like giving them the people what they want.
It's what you're good at.
Well, because Eddie's just such a man of the people.
Yeah, exactly.
That's clear.
Exactly.
He's a man of certain types of people.
Exactly.
He's the first to crap on people that are not a part of it. Yeah.
Exactly.
I like all races.
Well, nobody said anything about race.
I'm just throwing that out there.
That sounded defensive. That sounded like, hey, hang on a second.
The only people that say that are people that don't like all races. Is that what you're saying?
No,
Exactly.
I was thinking like, the poors.
I don't like poor people.
Don't
no.
be poor. Yeah.
No, but I kind of am. So, I don't like poors, but I am probably poor technically. So that
On the national average.
Yeah. So that doesn't work out to my favor, I guess. We got to go to practice this morning though, and how about that? Full 17 minutes of action.
It was less than that.
It was
9:28 when they kicked us out.
Today was probably the worst morning that you could pick to drive around Norman, America, specifically south of Lindsay Street, because it was freshman move-in day. So it was not the best, but it wasn't. I
It
guess
wasn't
the worst.
terrible. It's been worse before.
Yeah, it has been worse. I mean, the light was out.
Like at least the band.
The bar was set so low by Pete Morris that we will never go back to the depths of hell like that again.
I think there's been a time when there was actually move-in day with the band rehearsing in the same Lloyd Noble parking lot. It's always a circus every year. So anyway, last 2 days we have had practice access. Lincoln Riley had a chance to talk about his quarterback battle and what's going on there, and here's a little bit of that.
Lincoln, last time you named a starting quarterback was 2015. You named Baker 12 days out. That would be Monday. Are you on any kind of similar timeline, or do you have a timeline?
No, still no timeline. I haven't seen, a ton of separation. I mean, they're both playing well today. They both had a couple of the best days that they've had. And they've both been trending well here, kind of as of late. In the last 4 or 5 practices have been probably both of their best. Yes, they're taking advantage of it. We're not repping the 3s and 4s quite as much anymore. Really starting to we were already giving those guys a pretty good chunk of the reps, but even going more now. So, we'll just kind of see how it goes. Eventually, you're going to get to game week and have to do something by then. I mean, we'll certainly do something before the first game, but other than that, I think we're going to let it play out. We're getting a bunch of reps, and we'll see how it goes.
So, I mean, that to me is interesting. I mean, look, this is the last week of camp. I mean, I don't think we've really mentioned that. I mean, because classes start next week, and they go back to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, game week preparation schedule practices.
We are literally 2 weeks out.
Yes.
Starting on Monday.
And then Saturday will be their last major scrimmage.
It will, and I talked to Mike Stoops today, and, he's talking about just the fact that they have so many guys out there in these scrimmages that they won't really start really limiting guys on snaps and stuff like that for the 3rd and 4th string guys until the start of practice when they move it to the evening on Monday. But on the reverse side of that, I thought it was interesting that Lincoln Riley said they've already started kind of doing that with the quarterbacks, Kyler Murray and Austin Kendall. And
well, it also goes, and it goes to show you how close that battle really is if they're gonna say, okay, everybody else out of the way, let these two decide.
I think that they name a starter by next Wednesday.
I'm going to say they'll do it on Sunday, and then we'll find out on
Monday. Start leaking out on Sunday. And then
because I think you want to have your starter
ready
to go 2 weeks out.
The comment about we're going to look at everything after Saturday's scrimmage, and then the fact that Eric Bailey brought it up from the Tulsa World that he named Mayfield the starter 12 days out. I guess what I'm trying to say is they want that week next week to go through knowing who their number 1 quarterback is. Then you get into game week, right?
Yeah, I'm definitely ready to write someone was named the starter Monday night. Ready to write that story.
Get it over with.
Yep.
Although I wonder if well, I'll tell you what. Here's one thing we put to bed. Would Lincoln Riley play 2 quarterbacks? You tell me. My answer is absolutely not. You tell me if you think I'm if you're on the same page after you listen to this.
Lincoln, you mentioned quarterbacks, centers being sort of interchangeable right now. Is there a scenario in which you would play two quarterbacks in the early start of the season?
Yeah, if one got hurt.
Uncomfortable.
Maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't say absolutely not and absolutely yes. I mean, I think you just got to be ready to adjust. I do feel like we have two guys that can go help us win games at both positions. So is it possible? Sure, it's possible. But is it likely? Or are we more likely to settle in on one guy at each one? I would say that's probably more likely.
Any way that he plays, more than one quarterback.
No, I don't think so.
No. And I don't know if it's a bad sign or a sign at all, but Austin Kendall not letting himself be available to the media.
I think that's a good sign, actually.
Do you?
I love it. I love
You
that
are
he
here
just
for
was
that,
like,
right?
I am here for that. I love the fact that he was just like, nah, I'm not talking to the media.
I think Austin Kendall is salty.
Is that his power play?
Yeah, because the media has just
it is
the
it's-
entire time they have just assumed that Kyler Murray is going to be the starting quarterback.
It's really uncomfortable. Like even on Monday at or not Monday, but yesterday at post practice, you have George Schroeder, great writer for the USA Today. He's there doing a story on Kyler Murray. Joel Anderson from ESPN.com was there yesterday. He's doing a story on Kyler Murray and his father Kevin. It's very uncomfortable almost because even there was another example of it that even all these preseason publications and stuff, Phil Steele or any type of preseason magazine, it's always Kyler Murray taking over for Baker Mayfield. And I think we've all been on the same page as well. I mean, and even I would still say right now that it's going to be Kyler Murray, but it is kind of uncomfortable, and I didn't really think about it like that, but I could definitely see this just being kind of a middle finger to the media, and I kind of appreciate it. Maybe Austin Kendall's just a big Fox News guy. Maybe he's a fake news guy.
And I think I think Austin gave Mike Houck a statement to say, like, it's still...
He gave him a statement?
Still competition.
That's even better.
Still working hard.
Just tell them what I'm doing. That's even better. I might start campaigning for Austin Kendall to be the starting quarterback.
And then to never do any media throughout the year?
That would be awesome. If he sent out his own press releases on Austin Kendall letterhead.
We were talking about this the other day. Like quarterbacks, like we were so spoiled with Baker Mayfield in terms of the media.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Quarterbacks generally aren't great with the media. They don't like the media. They're not eloquent. They don't
They're the
give you a lot.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I mean, Trevor Knight was okay. He would never give a lot, but he would at least stand there and answer every question.
About God.
Well, he was BFJing. Landry Jones, never BFJing, but he would give you half-ass answers. Sam didn't usually talk a whole lot. Blake Bell was okay.
Oh, after Sam got hurt in 2009, he wasn't doing any more media ever. He shut it down.
And once Blake Bell was a tight end, he was tremendous.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, and I also think, though, that back then that was in such a Josh Heupel, don't say shit mode that, Lincoln will at least let you live a little bit, I think. I don't think that they have any type of rules as far as things that you can and can't say. Obviously, they're not going to descript every play to you, but,
I think you got to earn that with Lincoln, though.
Heupel put him on a leash.
Where you didn't want the parents talking.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when Trevor Knight hurt his knee against West Virginia.
Right.
I remember somebody, maybe it was Kersey.
It was Kersey.
Got a hold of his mom, like on Facebook, and boy, all hell broke loose. Because she acknowledged that he had some type of a knee injury. So, it's you're going to win the job, or you're going to win the job. I don't think there's no gray area. They're going to name a starting quarterback Monday. I don't know Monday, but if it is Monday...
Do we have a press conference on Monday? Or will that wait until next week?
We haven't got an official schedule yet for next week, but I don't think we'll have one.
It wouldn't make sense to have it 2 weeks out, but it would for the week before the game.
And I don't. There's no way that they go through next week without having named a starting quarterback, in my opinion.
The question is, will Sooner Sports want to make it their own deal?
put it out there yesterday. I think that they should reveal it through a gender reveal. Like
that doesn't make any sense, though. I mean, who's going to be a girl and who's going to be a boy?
Well, it'd be numbers. One will be number 1 and one will be number 10, like a balloon. Yeah,
and a balloon full of 10s.
Yeah, exactly.
But that'd be confusing because there's 1s and everyone would see a 1 and they'd just be like, Kyler Murray.
I didn't say how they need to execute it. I said it'd be a good idea.
Somebody would just screw it up, like all those Owens.
Probably drop
Some
the ball.
dude wouldn't swing the bat and it hit some lady playing catcher in the face. OU doesn't need that on their social media
channels. Sure, that's happened
channels.
before. Something hit a lady while she was playing catcher in the face.
Okay. So, quarterbacks, yes. Centers, Lincoln Riley says that actually is the best competition at camp.
How's the competition going at center? A very interesting situation.
Good. Yeah, that's good. That's the best competition out there. And they're two really good players. You know, it's going to be tough. That one is going to be really tough because they're both talented enough. You know, they're both skilled enough. You got two players where Creed Humphrey is probably the most talented of the group, and obviously Alvarez is the most experienced, having played all the games that he has and all the snaps he's had around here. So it's a pretty interesting dynamic, but you could tell each one has really kind of worked hard on their weaknesses, you know, I think, or maybe their weaknesses within this competition. Alvarez has really transformed his body physically. He's, you know, the best shape he has ever been in. And then Creed has really done a ton of work mentally, you know, and has really made up a lot of ground there. So it's the good thing right now is you don't see a big difference. We tend to move it pretty decent with both of them in there. They're doing a good job snapping, doing a good job calling it. It's a heck of a battle.
Closest competition in camp. That's interesting. I don't know. I kind of think Creed's going to win it, but I definitely can live in a world where Jonathan Alvarez ends up being the guy.
If he is as physical as Riley is saying now, because he wasn't that guy a couple years ago.
Oh, Jonathan Alvarez?
Yeah, he was just getting bullied.
Yeah.
If he's a different guy because of what Benny Wiley has brought to the table, then you can accept it just a little bit more.
Ty Darlington kind of went through that in his career.
Yeah.
Gabe Eichert went through that in his career.
For sure. The thing with Creed, and it's a very minimal thing, and I'm sure he's figured it out, but the only time I saw him play center in high school, he had a real problem snapping the football. And I'm sure that that's not a problem anymore because it was 2 years ago. But, I mean, those are little things that you never really think about.
Were you really running a lot of shotgun, though, in high school? Were they?
Yeah, they were running. I mean,
exclusively?
They weren't running anything under center. But that was a little different. I mean, it was definitely 2 years ago, obviously. So, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't think that we would be sitting here in mid-August thinking that Jonathan Alvarez was going to be the guy, but unless they're just straight up lying to us, it sounds like it really is a competition.
By the way, I know people got kind of freaked out about the whole offensive line didn't look that great in the scrimmage or whatever. Dude, Bill Bedenbaugh is nowhere near that offensive line that lost to Texas that year when Derek Farniok was the starter and Josiah St. John was the starter. That was a mishmash of players. I mean, he has legitimate he is going to figure this out. I have no doubts.
Yeah, if there's one position coach that probably shouldn't be questioned right now and what he needs to do, it's probably Bill Bedenbaugh.
Yeah.
I would feel completely... I mean, honestly, I think I'd be more worried about the tackle position than I would center or anything inside in the interior.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's a little discouraging we didn't get Bill Bedenbaugh on Wednesday because as much as Riley gives good insight, Bill is just someone who doesn't mince his words.
He'd give you the nuts and bolts.
He really would. And
Yeah.
so that was a little disappointing.
Josh, where are you at on the center position?
Well, I think we know I'm Team Carey's kid.
Stop it.
I'm definitely with Creed. And my question is, if it's close, what is the rationale for going with Alvarez? I understand an experienced player like last year would have made a lot of difference. Got to go second week to Ohio State. There's not that early road game where you think, oh, man, it's really going to help us if we've got a veteran center to deal with the noise and all the other stuff. Like, what? I don't understand. If it's even pretty close, and you might have Alvarez just a nose ahead, I don't really understand why you go in that direction rather than getting Humphrey the experience that he needs and starting to build, the future of your offensive line around your center.
That's just not the way in college, though, and it's never really been the way in Oklahoma. It's like if a guy puts in the time. I mean, he redshirted last year.
Exactly. Sort of. He earned this right.
I think if it is close, he gets the nod just because of all that stuff, and because Creed does have 4 years, remaining, and probably because
I'm a recruiting guy. I always look forward. I can't.
Oh, you're just a heartless bastard.
The now is sometimes falls behind.
I do think it's interesting to point out that, and this was something we talked to Jonathan Alvarez about, was the center is responsible for so much more than just snapping the ball, as far as calling out the alignment of the defense and recognizing everything up front. And I could see that being something that a young guy really struggles with, especially early. You get into situations, and it might be different in conference play once you get more comfortable, but throwing him out there early, and I that's not to say that Creed has struggled with that, but I think that could be something that would keep a young guy off the field, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I like we said, we don't know. It might be that the experience that Alvarez has, could help them a lot more in the run game, just because he's not going to mess up calls.
Yeah.
By the way, one of the other things from the scrimmage was Lincoln Riley talking about who the standouts were.
Yeah, there's some guys doing a good job. DelarrinTurner-Yell, stood out. He's done a really nice job of tackling. Very physical kid for his position and for his age. Isaiah Thomas I thought had a really nice scrimmage, starting to grow up and really play well. I thought our backers as a whole played well. Kenneth, Caleb, Curtis, those guys, Deshaun White, all doing some really nice things. Miguel Edwards had a really nice play in the secondary, continues to improve from coming in midterm. Offensively, Kennedy Brooks had a really nice scrimmage, really did some good things in all three different phases for the backs. So those are the guys off the top of my head that really stood out.
See, I mean, I say don't sleep on Kennedy Brooks for that third running back spot. He was really good in the spring game.
Jay Boulware seems to be talking up Marcellus Sutton, doesn't he, Bob?
He's talking up everybody, but yeah.
So it's an equal opportunity
but
thing.
It is, like with Sutton, it's about how much he has matured on and off the field, and because of that maturation process, he's a much different player.
Right.
That he's going to be so much more improved compared to who he was last season.
I'm glad I don't have to figure out how they're going to split up the carries back there, because you have, all those guys, and then we haven't even talked about TJ Pledger back there.
Yeah.
And in reality, I mean,
now I think he's a guy that you don't start out playing, you see how it goes, and then
start working him in late
and try and do the 4-game deal with him.
Speaking of the
now running backs, I'll say this. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good.
Running backs, to me, Josh, tell me if you agree with this. They're the one guys that you can put them in the game and know almost immediately, okay, this guy's ready to play or he's not ready to play.
Oh, I don't think there's any question. I think that is, without a doubt, because it's the easiest position to mentally grasp. I'm not saying there's not things you have to learn, but the bottom line is, can you be productive when we put the ball in your hands? And the guys who can, they can. The guys who aren't ready, they're not ready. I mean, it usually shows that. And then you get an anomaly like Rodney Anderson, which we've talked about over and over again. That last year, he didn't look like he had any business with the ball in his hands, and then by the end of the season, might have been the best running back in college football. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff to think. Well, so I think there's no question. I think that is the position where you can kind of get away with being a little young, being a little green, and I agree with you. I think you see what happens with Rodney Anderson, what happens with Sutton, what happens with Sermon, and if those three take off, then, you work Pledger in 4 times, then he gets his red shirt, whatever. But he's a talented enough guy that if one of those guys isn't doing what he needs to do, and, you kind of look at Sutton because they kind of have a similar skill set, similar size, that kind of thing, if Sutton's not getting it done, there's every reason in the world to believe TJ Pledger can step in and help.
My only problem with Sutton is he just doesn't seem to have a lot behind his pads. Eddie's phone
keeps going off.
Well, stop messing with it.
And there's more likely to be injuries with running backs, so I think TJ will get a shot to show what he can do. I'm not worried about that.
Okay, let's talk quickly about new Rivals rankings that came out. Theo Wease moves up to the number 2 player in the country. Sooners gained 2 5-stars. I think all of us were probably, I don't know, were we all most surprised by Trajan Bridges being involved in that?
I didn't think they'd make that big of a leap. I knew he'd go up, but he was like in the 60s. I thought maybe go up to 40 or something around there, because he's just killed it, especially at Rivals events, at the Adidas camp and at the 5-star challenge.
He's MVP.
But I didn't know it would be enough to vault him into that top 25, that 5-star spot.
Deserve, not deserve. Maybe Josh went to sell hell.
I thought there was a little beep, like he's off.
Probably talking to his wife during the podcast.
Yeah, because I think we all expected Spencer Rattler to make the jump, and he did to number 21, now the number 1 ranked quarterback in the entire country and a 5-star. But to add Bridges with it, that was a nice little Tuesday.
I think a lot of people were hoping Woody Washington would make a bump. He had a little bit of a fall. But really, I think if you're upset about that, look at Stacey Wilkins' numbers, right?
Yeah, and that's what we tried to say a lot on the message board on Tuesday and Wednesday. If you weren't at the 5-star, or if you weren't at the opening, what did you really expect to happen? Because nothing has changed at all from that last ranking. This is sort of based off all-star competitions, how guys reacted, how they played, how they tested, things of that nature. And there were some guys who stood out more than others, so they make the leap, they get the bump. That doesn't mean like R.J. Henderson and Woody fall in 7 or 9 spots. Means that now they're not playing as well. It just means they're going to have to show it during their senior season compared to what these guys were able to show during the summer to now put themselves in that position.
I'm going to do something real quick here.
Got to dial up Josh again. He says that he hung up.
Well, let him explain this.
We'll let him explain.
Okay, you have to. We're live still on the pod. We haven't changed a thing. You have to explain what happened.
Yeah, so for those who haven't clearly picked up on the noise whenever Josh talks, I am currently on the road. Not to fear, no distracted driving. We've got headphones in, or a headphone in. Safety first for Josh. But went to unmute myself to respond to something Bob had said, and hit a little bump in the road. And instead of hitting the unmute, I hit the hang-up button, so I just fell out completely.
Sounds more like a rivalry brewing between Josh and Bob to me.
Yeah, Bob was getting awfully lippy. You know, as Bob's prone to do.
You can't shut him up. You can only hope to contain him.
How messed up would that be if Josh was just driving to Oklahoma City to kill all 3 of us?
He can try.
Were you going to say something about Bridges?
Yeah, we were asking you what.
Change the subject.
We were asking your thoughts on Bridges' rise up to a 5-star.
Yeah, and I agree completely with Bob. I kind of had him. I thought he'd probably fall mid-40s, maybe 42, somewhere in that ballpark. I thought he'd definitely move up. But I didn't see him making that big of a leap. And, you know, you just kind of look at it. You add in the Spencer Rattler move, which I think we all did expect, and we'll get into that. But with Bridges, like Bob said, we saw him 3 different times this spring and summer. And at both Rivals events, he was the best wide receiver on the field that day. So at some point there had to be a reaction from Rivals. And what's interesting is, because there were no Rivals people that day at Nike, when he really didn't have a great day, it's almost as though that kind of got to slide by the wayside. And, you know, he was just judged on his Rivals work. And if you did it just on that, then that's a conversation to be had, because he really was dominant against a really, really good group of receivers, obviously led by Theo Wease.
And that's the thing, is like Rattler and Trajan Bridges get their 5-stars. Theo Wease has a chance to be the number 1 player in the country.
And the guy that is wild. And the guy that is ahead of him is a guy that he dominated in Atlanta in one-on-ones.
What did you guys think of his comments? Somebody asked me about it, and I kind of tried to be nice. I don't want to burn the kid down, but he made some comment about he thought he held his own with Theo, and I can kind of see what he's saying. But the bottom line is, if I'm holding my own, I need to win a few reps. And the only rep he won against Theo dropped the ball.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. The other thing about Theo is, he moves up to number 2. I think you almost got to feel fortunate because, remember, he had the one-on-ones he did so well, but then the team stuff happened. He basically gave up, started playing defense.
Because he did what he set out to do.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think he had one objective. He wanted to go beat Stingley
and
early
he did.
Often, and once he did that, I agree with Bob completely. I think he'd done the one thing he came there to do, and that was enough for him. So I mean, there's no question. I mean, you could tell even in drills, Theo wasn't that engaged. Because he was standing there by us, and he wanted Eddie to get that shot of them doing their new handshake they've been working on, and then he was starting to act like he was going to play some defense, and so Theo. Part of that is just Theo. He likes to have fun, and he's kind of a goofy kid, but I don't think he was quite as engaged as I've seen him in some other settings.
And your thoughts on anything else that happened either in the 100 or the 250, Josh?
Well, obviously the Rattler move up was just deserved. It was time for that to happen. He's a guy, actually, for those listening, I've actually booked my travel. I'm going to go see him in a couple months. Finally get a chance to, with our remake from our second attempt from last year when Hurricane Harvey literally kept me from seeing Spitzer Rattler. Going to go see him. Really anxious because, like I said, he's a guy that when you watch him spin it, he's so confident in everything he does. You hate to get into that comparison, and I know we've talked about it in the pod with some of the things OU has said through social media, but you can't watch him and not see a little bit of Baker Mayfield. There's some stuff in there that's real similar, and you don't want to make that comparison because that's just a lot to lay at his feet, but he's a special kid. He's a special talent. I think Oklahoma's going to have a real hard time keeping him off the field if Kyler Murray is not the quarterback next year. The only other thing that really sticks out to me is Stacey Wilkins moving up to number 56 in the country, like a 130-spot move. And I think really, we all saw him in Atlanta, and I thought he was good. I think Rivals has just bought into his upside, which is just humongous. If he can become everything his skills say he can be, that's, another first-round draft pick along the offensive line for Oklahoma. He's that gifted. He's just got to push himself to be that guy. And when I went out and saw him for his announcement, I talked to his coach. We've run that interview. His coach really acted like over the last year to 18 months, Stacey had really started to buy in to what he needed to do to be a great player.
I get the impression on Rattler, just looking at him and watching him, he looks like a guy. I know he plays basketball, but with the 7-on-7 stuff now, you just look at him. I see a guy that really hasn't been in the weight room very much. He looks, he doesn't have really defined muscles. He's a pretty skinny guy. I can't imagine once he gets to college and gets in a real weight program. Maybe that's something he'll start focusing on his senior year, since he said he's given up basketball. But that's the thing about him that really stands out is I just see a kind of a blank canvas with that kid still.
And I think some of that, Carey, goes into we're being from Oklahoma, me living in Texas. We're around huge high school programs. We go to Jenks, Union, Allen. We see all these places that they have coaches that all they do. They're paid by the school system, and all they do is train these kids on weights. And it's unbelievable that there's that kind of infrastructure there. But in places like California, Arizona, a lot of these other places where football isn't just the way of life, it's not structured like that. And I know you know that, but it's just one of those things where I think people sometimes will say, I don't know if he's putting the work in or no, it's just not there for him to do it like that. So if you put him at Allen or somewhere like that, he would look very, very different physically.
Did you guys have you watched any of that QB1 stuff now it's on Netflix? It's got Jake Fromm and Tate Martell.
No, I didn't even know about it. Tate Martell's in it, huh?
Oh, yeah, your favorite guy. And I've only gotten a few.
On the television.
I've only gotten a few episodes
His
in.
sister was in it.
But I think she is a little bit.
Is she?
Yeah. The Martell family is very social family. They're in Las Vegas. I mean,
kind of comes with the
imagine
territory.
what a rich white family in Las Vegas, what their house parties are like.
Send their kid to Bishop Gorman for sure. I can imagine too. Yeah.
But I mean, like Jake Fromm, like he's really impressive. Like that kid.
I thought he was pretty impressive in the limited, very very limited experiences that we had with him out in Georgia.
Yeah,
I mean Georgia, Los Angeles.
I can't see the Fields kid going in there and beating him out.
Justin Fields is good. I always thought that baseball was going to be his future, though. He has a little bit of Kyler Murray in him.
No, but I would definitely recommend that. That's a pretty. And the other kid's going to like Georgia Tech or no, it's Wake Forest, I think. Yeah, Bowers, I think, is the kid. Anyway, guys, anything else you guys want to hit on in terms of offense or defense that's kind of stood out to you the last couple of days?
I mean, it seems like that. I thought the Delarin. It's Delarin.
No.
Is it Delarin?
Delarian.
Delarian.
That's how Josh says it.
Well,
no,
I'm not going to call him that.
Lincoln
He'll
said,
be Turner-Yell from now on.
Think like DeLorean and then just kind of change it around a little bit. That's the only way I can ever get it right.
I'm going to call him either Turner-Yell or DTY. I haven't decided
That's,
yet.
yes.
DTY is what everybody seems to.
I have been a little surprised just how much he's been talked about at the safety position. I mean, I guess that we're so
and they
used
keep
to guys
talking about him, yeah.
We're so used to guys growing into that position, and it's kind of like almost like a situation that you have to be an older guy, but maybe that's just because Stephen Parker and those guys were around for so long. But he's interesting, and Justin Broyles has been interesting. Those have been two of the more interesting parts of the safety position. And then, I thought it was interesting that Lincoln Riley threw it out yesterday that Khalil Haughton has been playing some of the best ball that he's played since he's been in Norman, is I think the exact quote that Riley
Use it
said.
or lose it.
Yeah, I was talking with Carey Cooks about Haughton today, and he said Khalil could have been this guy 2 years ago because nothing's really changed except with his mental makeup. He had all this talent in the world the last couple years and just didn't put it together. He's proud that he's finally doing it now, but he's sort of wondering, like, man,
is it too late?
You could have done
These
this
younger guys?
two years ago. And that's another thing that I asked. Is it the Jordan Parker switching, Buki coming? How much did that finally push him to try to figure it out? And Cooks thought that was a pretty big part of what's happened with him throughout the spring and summer.
Well, it's competition. Like that's what they've been preaching since camp started. So it's kind of brought the best out in everybody. I did kind of notice today while I was out there some interesting things. By the way, Josh, you'd be happy to know I've exceeded our quota of Ryan Jones photos. We finally have a boatload of those. But I did notice kind of as they were going through drills, they had like first team, second team, like Kish was running with middle linebackers. It was Kenneth Murray, Caleb Kelly, running through drills together. So, all this talk about this and that. I don't think there's any way that Caleb Kelly does not win the starting job because his upside is just too ridiculous. Now, to me, it's kind of like Kyler Murray in quarterback. Like you could say that seniority or whatever doesn't matter, but like what I think is most likely, even though I'm not saying the coaches will do it this way, but I think what is most likely is Kyler Murray's named the starter. If he doesn't get it done, then they let Austin Kendall have a try.
Yeah.
And I think the same thing with Caleb Kelly.
Oh, yeah.
They let him be the starter at weak side linebacker. If he doesn't get it done, they give Curtis Bolton a try.
And they're finally at a point where they can do something like that because of the depth, because of the competition, and not where you have to just roll with someone for 6, 7, 8 games because no one behind him can possibly take his spot. Because I think you'll see that at safety, too, with Parker and Haughton, Barnes and Broyles. It's going to be you're the guy for now, and you have to prove it every,
and they haven't been able to do that
game.
in a long time. But you'd like to be starting off with a little bit better. I mean, is Florida Atlantic going to be a tougher game than UCLA?
I don't know. I'm kind of in between on that. I think that it's going to be really tough for Florida Atlantic to follow up what they did a year ago. Just kind of not being the I guess, not being the quote-unquote hunted this year, because I wouldn't necessarily put them in that group of teams, but it seems like it'll be tougher to do, don't you think?
I don't know if they can do it for all 4 quarters. I think they'll have some moments.
You know what is scary about that game is go back to that game against Houston. Now, you're playing this at home. You're playing that down in Houston. But Houston, Tom Herman, spent his entire offseason gearing up for Oklahoma.
That game,
He destroyed his entire season for
Destroyed
it.
his team to win that game and build his name.
To get the Texas job.
Until he got the Texas
What an
to
asshole.
get the Texas job. Is Lane Kiffin willing to do the same thing? Is he killing his players in camp right now, trying to get them at their peak to start the season, not caring how the rest of it's going to how much he's going to decimate his team?
I definitely think he would, or would try.
I think there's gonna be a lot of trick plays. That's what I think they're really working on. Stuff that you just will not see coming.
That would be interesting. I hadn't really thought about it that way, to be honest. What's the line at right now? I think like 20.5 last I saw.
I haven't even seen lines. I mean,
It was
you're
20
the degenerate, so you got.
It was 21.
All right, I know that it's 20.5.
Okay. did it move from 21? Because
I
that's
think
where
it
it
opened
was.
at 21 or something like that, and it's around 20.5. I haven't even seen any notes out of Florida Atlantic. I mean, does Chris Robinson have a real chance to start?
I be honest with you, I don't know. I keep being told no, but
No.
I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they don't have the same quarterback returner from a year ago, right?
No, it's between Chris Robinson and they have a guy that's coming back.
like a
I think.
third or fourth year guy or something like that.
Well, didn't they get
No,
a
no, it's
JUCO transfer kid.
DeAndre Johnson?
It's DeAndre Johnson,
Right?
The kid,
The
last chance you.
Last chance you.
Yeah, the punch guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Speaking of
And
last chance
then
you, I
the
finally
other
got to
one,
watch it.
They've got a grad transfer, I think, as well
Ah.
that's in the competition.
Yeah, and he just announced that he was going to grad transfer too. It's kind of weird. It was like a week ago or something.
It's probably on a quarter.
Yeah,
somewhere.
like I think it might have been right before fall camp started. Would be my thought.
Yeah, and would you really want Chris Robinson being your quarterback coming back to
Coming
Oklahoma?
back here, Rafe Peavy is the name of the grad transfer. He's from Arkansas.
Yep, that's right.
Terrible name.
He was actually a pretty big recruit for Arkansas at high school. He was a big deal. No, Carey, I was thinking the same thing.
Oh, they got
Like, do you
two, Nick
think
Tronti
Lane
as well.
Kiffin's- Do you think Lane Kiffin's like hoping that Robinson is not good enough to win that job, at least for week 1? Because that's got to feel like a huge gamble to roll in with him as a starter in that scenario.
Yeah, because I mean, look, it might play in your favor. He might be pissed off. He might play really hard, but he also might try too hard too. He might try and do things that you shouldn't be trying to do as a quarterback. Which is, any freshman's kind of gonna do that.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, that would be a tough spot to give a kid his first official college start on the road at the school that he originally attended.
Oh, you should make sure that his crazy girlfriend is sitting in the front row.
You read my mind. I was like, is Lincoln going to call her up and be like, hey, give him a ring. Give him a little pep talk right before the game.
Surely they're not still together.
Oh, what if she's living with him in Florida?
Yeah, she didn't follow him?
By the way, if you don't know, basically having a crazy girlfriend is what led to Chris Robinson no longer being at Oklahoma. And that's all
I was
going
to say his demise, but we'll just settle with dismissal.
Yes. Which, I mean, that's still, to me, that goes overlooked that Lincoln Riley dismissed his first scholarship quarterback when the second thing he did wasn't even anything that made, a police report.
Yeah.
By the way, Sean Robinson's going to be really pissed off when TCU plays OU this year.
Pissed off?
Yeah.
Why?
Because remember, Lincoln tried them both out that day.
Oh, yeah.
The satellite camps, and then gave the offer to Robinson.
I think he's good. I think he's a good player.
Robinson?
Sean Robinson, yeah.
Yeah, but Sean's the one that committed first.
I was talking to, who was the guy from ESPN that was here yesterday?
Joel Anderson.
Joel Anderson. He's a TCU guy.
Oh, really?
He is not a Sean Robinson fan.
Really?
Yeah.
I think he's a good quarterback.
Am
I crazy?
The guy that is not going to be upset is Lincoln Riley.
I mean, they
don't
really.
think Robinson's Carolina would use offense if he had to.
No, Robinson is not an accurate passer.
Yeah.
Right.
Basically, all TCU needs to do is have a guy that can score 3 to 4 touchdowns a game, though, right? Like, I think they're defensively. They lost Blaylock yesterday, didn't they?
Oh yeah, that was a
Big
big
defensive
loss.
tackle, which is a big loss. But I played golf with some guys yesterday that have some buddies that are TCU fans, which take it with a grain of salt. But I guess Gary Patterson's telling boosters down there that he thinks this could be his best defense they've ever had in Fort Worth.
I mean, I don't put it past Gary Patterson to have a great defense.
It'd be interesting.
Because it's easy to say that when the offense is probably going to be as down as it's been in years.
Yeah.
They got Rager and Turpin, though.
I mean, your top returning quarterback besides Will Greer is Kyle Kempt.
Yeah.
And then the Brewer kid at Baylor. Was it Michael Brewer?
Michael Brewer, yeah. I don't even know who's Tech's quarterback. I have no idea.
It's not a returner.
Are they going to go with the young kid?
Shimonek was their quarterback last year.
What's his name, Jet?
Yeah, Jet Duffy. As long as he doesn't get arrested again. He has a nice little rap sheet.
By the way, Mahomes not exactly tearing it up in the NFL so far.
Yeah, I've noticed that. He likes throwing picks at practice, it sounds like.
Yeah, like a bunch.
Have you guys been watching Hard Knocks?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
I enjoy watching the edited version.
Edited version?
They like HBO in the middle of the day, like if you catch it on like HBO Family.
Yeah?
They bleep out the curse words.
What?
Yeah. And it's really they do it.
That's a soft way of watching
They
it.
do it very creatively. Like when they say the effing word, it goes bleep bloop. Like so they want you to know that it's two syllables.
Oh yeah. So they don't even have Greg Williams talking on it. he's just a character.
Actually,
it's like a silent film.
When it gets really bad, it just goes silent. Yeah, they just stop the audio completely.
Greg Williams is absolutely
He's
100% gonna kill somebody.
He could never coach in college.
No. Oh, no. If he would, it'd be at Maryland, though.
He would get everybody fired.
I'm surprised they haven't fired DJ Durkin. Remember when DJ Durkin was like, or maybe it wasn't as common as people, or as I thought it was, but wasn't DJ Durkin's name like a big name that people wanted at Oklahoma for a long time?
Well,
was he at Minnesota before Maryland?
What, Michigan?
Yeah, he was
Michigan. Okay.
Yeah.
And he was just the name that was on the rise. You knew he was going to take a program to the next level, and then all this happened.
He was at Florida for a long time.
And I think this is the thing that's so impressive about Lincoln Riley is that, he's a new age guy.
Sleazeballs coach with other sleazeballs, Josh.
But Lincoln Riley does not, he can be a hardline guy. Like we were in Frisco, he told me something. He said, I was asking about Benny Wiley and his relationship with the players. He said, sometimes you can't just yell at players all the time. He said sometimes players want to know why you want them to do something. And you have to explain it to them in a way that's not just yelling at them. But trust me, Lincoln Riley or Benny Wiley is never going to make a guy eat a candy bar in front of his teammates as they're working out.
All right, let me preface this before preface. Let me preface this. What happened there is not funny. That is pretty funny. Making a guy eat a candy bar in front of his whole team. That's straight out of Heavyweights.
It's like Full
Is that
Metal
the Fat
Jacket.
Camp?
Yes.
It's a Fat Camp movie. I love that movie.
With Goldberg
Yes.
before he started drinking.
By the way, did you see Goldberg last month or
Yeah,
last
man.
week or whatever it was? Oh my God, he's a crack whore now.
I'm still shook about it.
Yeah, they were hiding the candy in the bedposts,
in the floor and stuff. Yeah. And Ben Stiller is the
oh yes,
is the
camp counselor.
Camp counselor.
Yeah, the dickhead camp.
Okay,
Yeah.
guys, I was watching Dodgeball the other day, and Heavyweights came into my mind. Is White Goodman, is that basically just a follow-up character to his Heavyweight character?
It really is.
I think it's almost, because like, even in Dodgeball, he talks about a huge inheritance from his father. Like, it's the same basic idea
I think it's
as Heavyweights. I'm like, oh my God, it's a sequel.
I think it's a combination of the heavyweights counselor and the elderly home attendant in Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, you're right. That's
Because he's got the mustache from that.
You will shut up, or I will make you shut up. You're in my world now, Grandma. It's a great line.
By the way, I'm going to go ahead and address this. We have some huge stuff coming with the podcast. I'm just going to say it right now. We're getting ready to make a lot of people out in the world jealous. This is how much I'll tell you. We've been working day and night, really for about the last 3 weeks. And our guy, Craig Parrish, who has really helped me get out there and kind of hit the pavement on working with sponsors for the podcast. You guys have listened to it and made it such a huge podcast, and we hope you'll continue to tell your friends if they don't know about it. But we're getting ready, which you guys have asked for, to start producing a second podcast. It will feature mainly Eddie, myself, and Bob, and it will be a post-game wrap-up podcast. I love how we had the thread where everyone wanted to tell us, like, this is what you should do. It's like, we kind of know what to do. I mean, you're going to do a podcast after a game? You're going to do a podcast midway through the week? You have 2 podcasts. So, but we couldn't do it without the great sponsors that are getting ready to sponsor this podcast. So we'll tell you more about that. We will also...
Next week? Is that a next week thing?
Next week,
Maybe
I
the
think
week
we're
after?
going to get up
Game
the
week?
link...
Game week something?
to our because the post-game podcast is going to be on a separate iTunes feed. So we're going to want everybody to go and subscribe to that one, because you won't be able to get it just on this feed. You'll have to go and subscribe to another feed. It's just the way it works with iTunes, and
we'll figure it out in the weeks to come. As far as like 11 o'clock games, we should be able to record them after
that
the game.
night. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
On Saturday. Night game probably a little bit tougher.
It will curtail Eddie and I's Saturday night drinking a little bit.
A lot more drinking.
Will it?
After game drinking.
Actually,
Will it really?
no, because we have a free supplier for that stuff now.
Oh.
I won't say who.
So we definitely will be drinking. I need to get I need to figure out an Uber situation to downtown on Saturdays.
It's about Saturday night. It's about 25. It's not terrible.
No. Don't drink and drive, park and sip. That's always my motto.
But yeah, it's coming. So we're really excited, really proud. Been working on it hard. I know everybody's been like, just get some sponsors. Yeah, we've been working on it for a while. So it's coming. We'll tell you more about it next week. And the Get Gear 99 promo, we blew it off. We blew the doors off that thing. Sooner fans, you guys killed it. I mean, no one else on the network signed up nearly close to as many people as we did. We know a lot of you guys wanted the new Jordan brand gear. Glad that we could do that for you. I also said this last week on the podcast, and somebody gave me crap. I know it's Fanatics. You know, that's who runs our Rivals fan shop. But the problem is, I lived in Tulsa when I was first starting my career, working for Sooners Illustrated, and we had a big advertiser that was Fan Attic. I don't know if they're still around or not. So every time I try and say Fanatics, I say Fan Attic. So that's why I'm stupid.
I didn't even notice it. I still don't.
Didn't Eddie?
But you can't say words, so.
Yeah, it just all blends together to me.
So next week, it's going to be on game week schedule. I would say right now the plan is that the pod stays the same on Wednesdays. And that way we'll get through Monday and Tuesday and get all the media out of the way. Be able to pod on Wednesday, and then Saturdays and Sundays you will have a post-game podcast this year. And we will be traveling to all the games, so we'll all be there live to bring you the audio from the game, the locker room, and our insights, our wonderful insights. So there you go.
Should be well sourced.
Very excited. What did you say?
Huh?
What did you say?
Nothing.
Did you just get an F word in there?
No.
No.
I said it should be well sourced. We'll be everywhere.
Oh, okay.
Well sourced.
You know, like actually there.
Yeah. You don't have to say it's sourced when you're there.
Oh. All right.
I understand your confusion, though. Some people don't get that.
It can be confusing for everybody.
Any last words before we get out of here, guys? I apologize for fighting you on a podcast today. As you can hear, my voice is just about gone.
We almost did it, though. We got through it. I would say the next time that we talk, there
I did
probably
call you a
will...
bunch of wussies this morning, or called you, what did I say, throwing a hissy.
The next time we talk, I would say that there will be a
Starting
quarterback.
Maybe a starting center.
Emergency pod!
I wonder how they... yeah, we might need to do that. So just prepare for that. It would be interesting if they announce everything all at once.
Maybe I can afford cough buttons one day.
You remember?
No, I think.
Remember last year they did that show on Fox Sports?
Is that how they did it?
Yeah.
I couldn't remember.
To do what? Oh, the depth chart show.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that.
Plank? Did Plank host it?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And Toby might have been
cool
on there
with that.
too.
I'm cool with that if that's how they want to do it.
I have not heard from Toby after I talked about his... I don't think he's mad at
Palace on the Prairie?
me. Yeah.
That'd be really disappointing if he just stopped doing it.
He's not. I can tell you that
You
for
don't think?
sure. No, not because of what I say.
Maybe he already has the copyright on it.
I'm pretty good at pissing
Trademark,
Toby off.
I guess.
I've done it a lot over the years. I think I have the ability to piss Toby off more than anyone on this planet. Because he's not easily jarred. Josh, thank you for yell talking your way through the show today.
Josh, did we ever say where Josh is headed?
We have not said where Josh is headed.
Would you like to tell everybody?
I guess for those that there should be some purpose behind me just randomly driving. I'm actually headed up to Tulsa tonight. Going to see just about everybody in the northeast corner of the state over the next 2 days that I'd really want to see. Booker T, Jinx, Union, Owasso, Broken Arrow. Going to see a couple of big Arkansas programs at Union tonight. Even going to see Westmore and Santa Fe as well tonight. So going to knock out a bunch of guys that I needed to see. So this just kind of ended up being a perfect trip. But, as far as OU guys, tonight seeing Andrew Rain, the 2020 offensive line offer. Tomorrow night you can see Javian Hester, Dax Hill, obviously that Oklahoma's still involved with to whatever degree. And a guy that I think everybody's maybe sleeping on just a little bit as far as maybe OU taking a look down the road is Thomas Grayson, the Booker T running back. I don't think anything big is happening with him right now, but Scoop should have some stuff on kind of some conversations that are still happening with him right now.
Interesting.
And that should be it for me yelling. Really, I've heard myself several times and I'm like, wow, that was really loud. So my bad.
Well, you're in your F950, and I'm sure the tire noise is just deafening, so I can understand why.
No, I'm in a rental car, getting about 35 to the gallon. If I have to leave the greater Houston area, I rent because it's cheaper to pay for the expense of the rental car than it is to pay for the gas in that damn truck.
Way to shop smartly.
That's what I do. Plus, we keep the miles down, good for resale. Josh is old, and these are the things he thinks about.
What are you going to get at DW's when you cross the border?
I think he goes up through through Durant, don't you?
I think I'm going up through 75. Yeah.
Oh, you're going through 75?
I don't know what the border adult bookstores are on the Durant, Texas.
Couldn't tell you. I only go up there once or twice a year.
I may hit up a casino, whatever.
They got some really good ones down there.
I know a good one you can hit up.
That area. Exactly. I crossed my mind. So.
Well,
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us. We appreciate everybody listening. If you're not a subscriber, go subscribe. If you're using an Apple iPhone, iOS device, go subscribe on iTunes. Google Play, you can get us on Stitcher or Google Play, the Google Play Store, or SoundCloud. I think most of our Google Android device listeners are listening on SoundCloud now, and then SoundCloud for iPhone as well. So actually, if you subscribe, the reason, I haven't explained this in a while, but if you subscribe, you will get the podcast faster than if you don't. So that's the best reason I can give you for subscribing. And once again, thanks to everybody who signed up, the hundreds who signed up for the new annual subscription. We hope you enjoy your Jordan Brand gear or whatever that you decided to get. I don't know why you would not get Jordan Brand gear, though, right now.
Get a Baker jersey.
I looked, and you couldn't get a Cleveland Browns jersey. I guess the rivals, because we don't have NFL sites, we don't carry NFL jerseys, which was kind of bogus. All right, so thanks everybody for listening, and we'll catch back up with you guys next week, same time on this channel.
Podcasts from Soonerscoop.com.